This is Jim Crow 2.0. It's sick. Stone cold racism in a scale I never thought I'd see in my lifetime. Never have seen in my lifetime. It's all happening. Bringing us back to a pre-1960s world.
Welcome to the Black American, channel of the free and the brave. Now today, we are rejoicing. We are ecstatic. Come one, come all, conservatives, Republicans, we must celebrate. Why are we celebrating, Black American? Before I tell you, let's go back in time to the 60s, when the civil rights movement gave my people the right to vote. Now, I must admit, it took way too long. There were many atrocities that my people endured before we got representation, real representation, the right to vote in this country. Now, with that being said, we also got the privilege, not the right, but the privilege to be able to draw congressional districts in order to get an unfair advantage in having a voice in the federal government. Moving forward to today, courts are deciding that that decision was and is, in fact, unconstitutional because you cannot draw districts according to race. So when it was established back then, it was never constitutional. And what's happening today, Democrats are losing their minds. It's absolutely comical because they are actually antithetical to their entire civil rights stance. When they speak on having equality, but when you have privilege and your privilege is taken away, you think you're oppressed, when in fact you have true equality. Now I got a couple of videos I'm going to react to. Before we do, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 9,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you. And of course, leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. Without further ado, let's get into these videos.
Today, Tennessee Congressman Steve Cohen dropped his bid for re-election after his redistricting in his state. You know, he held the state's only Democratic district since 2007, and it's mostly black, by the way. It comes after state Democrats threw a tantrum after the new map passed. 1 week later, they aren't done with the theatrics. Watch.
Now, real quick, I got to butt in. Steve Cohen has been running this state, representing this particular district, I should say, for 19 years. 19 years, and it's the only district in Tennessee that is represented or has a majority black population. So their entire stance that they're losing black representation is a farce. It's absurd because the representative has been white for 20 years. Like, make it make sense. But they can't. Let's continue.
Democrats need to come on to Memphis, come on to Fayette County, come on to Williamson County, and help us to organize, rally the resources, donate to these campaigns, because the fight is in the South. The fight for the future of this country is in the South.
Now, they have such a pseudo civil rights argument today because black people, you guys got to understand, and everybody else can see this, but we have everything we've been fighting for. We've gotten it. We have equality. We have civil rights. We can vote. We can move. We can live wherever we want. We can wear our hair however we want. We can travel. We can own guns. We can do whatever we want. Why are we stuck in victim mentality, victimhood mindset? Why? it's a grift. It's a way to just start up controversy and make headlines. And we're tired of it. People are tired of it. Everyone is tired of it. The rest of the country is tired of it. And it's absolutely wild. We have this representative, Mr. Pearson, who was an absolute Martin Luther, I want to be the king, pseudo civil rights figure, who is misguided, misinformed, and is feeding information to people who just want to be victims. And the only way we're going to move forward is once we relinquish and let go of this victim mindset and we realize that we literally have everything we've been fighting for.
There's even growing calls for black athletes to boycott the SEC schools over redrawn maps.
I don't understand why an athlete would go to a school where the state is ushering in a new iteration of Jim Crow. Mothers and fathers of those athletes, because if you're a 4 or 5-star athlete, you can get NIL money anyway. You don't need to go there. If it was up to the southern states, they would still be having slave labor, which is what they used athletics for. If athletes stop going to the Tennessees and the Louisiana, the top tier athletes, ESPN and presidents of schools, chambers of commerce would start having conversations.
Now, if you guys don't know who that is that was speaking, that was D.L. Stupidly. I'm sorry, D.L. Hughley. Now, he is a comedian and now an absolute civil rights commentator. I won't say activist, but he has a lot to say. And to suggest that college athletes, black college athletes, not attend certain states in the South that have redrawn districts in according to logic and are anti-drawing districts according to race, which is unconstitutional. For him to suggest that these black athletes should not go to these schools is absolutely absurd and absolutely out of touch with reality and the way things should be in this country. It's wild that the more we move towards equality, the more that my community wants to find ways to start controversy. It's absolutely insane to me, because if white people wanted to draw districts and cut through certain areas of the state to specifically only include white people in order to gain more seats and representation in Congress, there would be an absolute uproar with the black community. So why do you think, as black people, we should have the right, the privilege to be able to break the Constitution, just not follow the Constitution and do things racially, when we've had 60, almost 70 years of this? And at this point, Republicans are taking the training wheels off the black community, because at this point in time, we need to realize that it's up to us to have accountability, self-awareness, self-motivation, figure out how to become competent in finances, business, figure out how to but to form the black family again. Let's move back up to the highest married group of people, demographic of people, like we used to be, actually, before the 60s, before the Democrats were the leaders of black people, when our crime rate was down, when we had the highest marriage rate, literacy rates were through the roof, businesses were booming. Democrats have done nothing but destroyed the black community, and they have our vote in a chokehold. Absolutely wild and insane, and needs to be studied how they have manipulated us for so long. When will we wake up and realize that the Republicans fight not only for black people, but we fight for all Americans? The policies that Republicans put forth benefit everyone, not just a certain group of people. And they also don't lie about what they're going to be able to do and give certain groups of people, because policies should be enacted, drawn up, written, and passed to help all Americans. Because at this point in time, we all have equal rights. It's not the 60s. Everyone can vote. Everyone can do any and everything we want to do. We have to realize we have everything we've been fighting for. So the fight that we're fighting today is not the fight of our ancestors, not the fights of our mothers, our fathers, or our grandparents. It is current day problems, which has nothing to do with the 60s and everything before. We have to shift. We have to change our mindset and realize moving forward, everything is different. And that's one main problem with us. And we have to change. We have to think. We have to move different. Let's continue.
Is a radical Supreme Court that is making decisions simply to benefit Republicans. It's going to usher in massive Supreme Court reform when Democrats take control. And that will be because of the actions of extreme political actor John Roberts in this partisan Supreme Court.
I mean, when John Roberts ruled against Donald Trump when it came to tariffs? Oh, that guy? Meanwhile, Supreme Court reform, that's the new term for packing the court.
The moral light has been extinguished from the Supreme Court. That is why we need term limits for Supreme Court justices. 18 years and you're out. That is why we need to expand the court from 9 justices to 13 justices like we have 13 circuits. The next time the Democrats have power, we need to actually take action, not just appoint commissions.
Is there anything?
Now, on its face value, I'm not opposed to adding more Supreme Court justices. But coming from Democrats, I'm skeptical about everything they say. Because once Democrats start losing, they try to change the rules. They try to change the Constitution. When the forefathers saw situations like this coming up, and they were like, if you're losing, you don't change the rules just because the people don't vote for you. You change your policies to attract the people so they can vote for you. And that's a main problem with the Democrats. They want to change things. They want to change the rules. Things aren't fair if we're not winning. Things aren't right if we're not winning. No, you're not right if you're not winning. Most of the country is actually conservative. And redrawing these districts is going to actually show that. And I can't wait for Black people to see that Republicans taking the training wheels off of you will be a huge benefit. But it's going to take some time to see that. Just like when many slaves got the news that they were emancipated, they didn't know what to do with themselves. We're free. What do I do now? Many years later, 150, 160 years later, we're thriving. Republicans freed the slaves. And yet again today, Republicans have freed Black people yet again. And Black people are up in arms saying that it's not fair. Give it some time, because absolutely no Black person has lost the right to vote. We have only lost the privilege to draw districts racially, which is absolutely unconstitutional.
Thing about our country they don't want to change. Now, Kamala Harris is on board. She was laying out in her big progressive wish list.
Look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about.
No bad ideas from the Democrats? Whew, they about to give up some bad ideas, and I am going to be here to report on it. Y'all stay tuned.
What we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and DC. These are the things I think that we've got to do.
So statehood for Puerto Rico and DC, why do you want to do that? Because you think that Puerto Rico will vote overwhelmingly Democrat? We don't want Puerto Rico to be a state. It's an absolute mess down there. You know how, like, we would need to absolutely build up the country, the infrastructure, electrical grids, things of that nature. I don't even know why it's a territory. I need to do some research. Maybe it's a good reason behind it, but I don't even know why it's a territory. We're giving all these people U.S. citizenship. Now, I'll look into it. Maybe I'll make another video in the future. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's strategic behind it. But I don't even think they should be a territory at all. And then DC is the capital of the country. You only wanted to be a state because it's mostly black and black people vote Democrat. We can see right through you. We can see right through you. I'm more worried about, let's go get Greenland resources. It could be a hub for international logistics, travel. Let's make strategic moves that will help the country, not strategic moves that will help the Democratic Party, because the party has detrimental policies for the country, for states, for districts, cities, and communities.
Those are the things that Americans pretty much did not want her to do, and most Democrats in the past did not want to do. So where does redistricting stand right now? Here are the 4 states that could be deciding the control of Congress in 26. For example, in Alabama. Let's take a look. See how it's going to be a little bit more red? This is the proposed. That's the current after the ruling that happened in Louisiana. See, much more red. But let's be honest, most of Alabama is red. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court cleared the way for a race-neutral map, giving Republicans the advantage. In Missouri, the state Supreme Court upheld a Trump-backed map, adding a possible GOP pickup. You're seeing that right there. So you'll see a little bit more red there, squeeze back. You'll squeeze back in the pink.
Talk about red-blooded Americans. Look at that map. Love it.
In Illinois, a legal challenge could force a redraw of the state's maps. It's first big blue state facing the possibility. And then, of course, in Virginia, as you see over there in Illinois, look at this. It was almost all blue. It was easy. First, it was 50-50. Then it went all blue. And now it's sneaking back some red. So it recreated the balance of power. Now in Virginia, the $70 million redistricting effort just blew up in their face because of the state Supreme Court, not the U.S. Supreme Court. Conservative activist and early vote action founder Scott Preston.
Now, real quick, I love how the ball got rolling with Virginia because they tried to redraw their districts, but their own state Supreme Court decided that it's unconstitutional. Even the whole process that they were going about trying to do it was incorrect. But the redrawing itself was actually unconstitutional. So that resulted in many other states realizing that they had the ability to actually go in and redraw districts logically and without using race as a factor. And many states in the South are doing the same thing. And Republicans are winning seats in abundance. I would love to see California do it, because if we could flip Cali, oh my God, there will never be another Democratic president ever. Oh my God, let's keep going.
Joins us right now. So Scott, the melting down is happening right now on the left. Did it catch you by surprise?
When the Democrats show you who they are, Brian, believe them. And it's so funny to say, Kamala Harris, that no idea is a bad idea. And I think that's emblematic of the Democrat Party. They're just mad that the Republicans are fighting back peacefully and using the very tools that they have used against us for decades. We are fighting fire with a gosh darn flamethrower, and they are desperate.
Yes, desperate is the word. If you've made it this far, go ahead and leave a comment saying desperate. If not, leave more because I want to have a conversation. But Democrats are absolutely desperate right now because they're losing congressional seats in mass because they can no longer unconstitutionally draw districts according to race. Moving forward, I see this being a thing. I don't see we going back to it. Why would we? Because there will be an uproar amongst Republicans. And when Democrats lose, like I said before, when they get desperate, they want to change the rules. They want to change term limits for Supreme Court justices. They want to rewrite the Constitution. They want to do so many things when the Constitution is the best written form of government that humans have had in the entirety of human history. So to rewrite it would be unjust. To rewrite it would be a country suicide. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I will definitely want to hear from you. So make sure you leave your comments down in the comment section so we can have a conversation. This is the Black American Channel of the Free and the Brave.